failure though, because I'm gonna put no tips, no help. I don't know much about the game. I'm not gonna look at any guides and just see how many times I die. I would imagine quite a few. Don't do it, it's too late. There are other things, even with the brand new one that they came out with. The only thing I think, oh yeah, the only one of the things that are kind of how to put it, the only thing I could see being a problem is for viewers. I think I would have a lot of fun, but I don't know how much, because a lot of it's text based, right? Like when you look at like RimWorld, everyone can tell what's going on. Of course, there's like underlayers too, but it's a lot more clear. Whereas like Dwarf Fortress, a lot of it's like text. You guys like the deeper story? In your opinion, what games do it better now? I think we'll remove this. We need to start getting water in here. We'll open that up. You were being crusty? I've never heard that term. Liquid pump. Whoops. Can you not rotate liquid pump? Weird, okay. Okay, and then plumbing. We'll remove this guy here. We're gonna up you. Oh, is that the water that I'm filling this with? It's freezing. I think that's what's happening. Crazy, this area still has not warmed up in the slightest. Build you, and we're gonna put you up. Liquids, polluted water. Now let's start getting some of the polluted water out of our base. Blueprint, larva egg. I don't even know what that makes. Exclude. Oh, crude oil. Why not? slowly getting that all filled out. How's the germs doing? Oh, looks like all the germs died in this area. And here as well, so we can cancel all of that. Not that anyone was actually going to do that, looks like. How are you doing for germs as well? Yeah, that's slowly going down. Kind of want to open that. Once it's open, that's it. Oh, that's exactly what we wanted. Yeah, we'll do that. I'll give her lots of stuff to research. And then let's check to see if there's more upgrading that we can do for Vims. We could, but morale seems to not always be getting the bonus here. Make sure that's still working, yeah. Guess what we're probably gonna actually want to do is open that up, have that sideways here, and eliminated, and the same thing on this side, so that no matter what side they go in on this, they're gonna get the nature buff. And that little line that was kind of a mistake is actually gonna turn into something that's gonna be beneficial now. Pardon me. And there we go. Now our polluted water now is starting to go in here, which also means we can I don't know why they keep coming up here to use these. But let's get rid of these now. This ice, I feel like, is slowly moving over. Okay. It's annoying that they keep grabbing the stuff that I haven't selected. It's like, why? Can you guys grab that? It's actually kind of annoying is I screwed the storage up. If I wanted to make this into a storage area. Probably here if we get rid of the water, but it is going to freeze. It's negative, yeah. So what we could do is... I think I got an idea for that. So we will, it's gonna get really hot, so we have to make sure we really contain that heat. A lot of this I don't even need at the moment, but it's just giving my guys something to do and future planning. What? Oh, all that polluted water just freezes. It does stop it from emitting gas, though. Build that first so you don't kill yourself. Yeah, I'm trying to grab all this stuff because a lot of times I like never can get to it again because it either gets too hot or whatnot, but it takes a lot of time. You know, this game looks really good and cute and all, but for that reason, I just don't understand anything that's happening in it. Yeah, I can try to do my best to explain it. So, yeah, I guess, I'm not doing a really good job of kind of talking through it. I'm kind of just zoned out. So I guess just in general, we have characters called dupes, or duplicants. And for whatever reason, we have no idea, but there's this printing pod that was like sent here or whatnot, and it's in the middle of an asteroid. So you're in this huge asteroid, and when this thing builds up enough energy, it prints out. You can print out something. So it's usually a different type of duplicate that you're printing, or something like materialistic like water or coal, or you can just reject it and wait. So there we go, it just popped. So in here you can choose a blueprint, and here is what we can get. So there's usually 3 duplicates and a resource. Sometimes it's 2 and 2, but that's generally speaking what it is. So here, if we want, you can look at, like, do you want someone that's good at cooking, someone who's good at building, night owl, and then there's always, no matter what, there's always going to be positive traits and negative traits. On top of that, they will have different ratings. So they'll have stress and an overjoyed response. So in this particular case, when they're upset, they'll go on a fucking destructive binge and start breaking shit. And if they're super happy, they can become super productive and work harder. Different things could be sticking stickers on random shit. Some of it I think like boosts other people. Other stress reactions is screaming at the top of their lungs or vomiting. You can basically print people, yeah. So here I don't really care about anyone, so we're just gonna print some seeds. So that's kind of like where everybody comes from, and this kind of keeps going on. Next, they all have their skills that they like, but they're not defined to those skills. They can technically learn everything, but say if you get to choose when you get to upgrade. So for example, if you want someone that wants farming, you can put more points in farming. So if we go into here, duplicate skills. So we have clean biscuit here, and this is his morale. So these are things that comes from like better food, better rooms. Do they get breaks? This one has nature reserve +6. That's a big bonus. But anything that they have a personal interest in also gets a bonus. So he loves construction. So this would take normally 1 point of skill, 2.3 points, but with the heart, I think it subtracts 1, or technically gives you 1 morale, so it kind of breaks even. So 1 on 1, this one will be free. This will cost 2, but you also get 1, so it's only costing you 1, and so on and so forth. And you can see the morale here. So every day, this is how much morale is getting and how many points I can spend. The thing is, morale's not set. So if you don't do certain things on that day, you will have a lower morale, and your red can be higher, and so you'll get stressed out. So you don't usually want to have this like breaking even. You want to give yourself some wiggle room. Like, for example, if they don't walk through my nature reserve, that's 6 points that they don't get that day, and they will kind of get set back. So that's their overall job, and there's a lot of different jobs that you can do. So you got digging, construction, farming, grilling, art, research, caring, tinkering. So it's like working machinery, medicine, and strength. And then you have some subcategories under farming. You can go into ranching, and in improved carrying, you can also go into wearing suits, and eventually rocket piloting. So what we want to do is try and keep them alive. So we have a source of water, different sources of water. You have we got food. We have some animals around, but we're not ranching. They're kind of in the wild. So every time they die, most animals in the wild will always replenish themselves. So they'll drop an egg before they die. And then so when they die, you get their meat, and then the egg will crack open, and then you get another one. So it's kind of like self-sufficient. But if you were into ranching, you could force them to lay more eggs. You could boost their population, or just use that one to make more meat for yourself, or more eggs for yourself. Up to you. The game is very complicated. We can go through all the different things. So there's different auction tabs. So it's called auction not included. And you can kind of see the light blue is where things are very auctionated. Dark blue is when things are that's breathable. And then purple is barely breathable, and red is not breathable. So like carbon dioxide. So you gotta think every time that they breathe, they're obviously taking an auction, but they're also taking out or sending out carbon dioxide, and since oxygen is lighter than carbon dioxide will sink to the bottom, and oxygen will go up to the top. So you have to like manage your different layers of oxygen. So one of the reasons why I'm making these huge basins right now is that as my guys breathe and say like a coal generator, this thing will produce energy, but it also produces carbon dioxide. So this is kind of like collecting it all. Eventually you can have machines that can start to recycle carbon dioxide, but I'm trying to stay as low tech as possible to just kind of like map out where I want things, and so I don't have a lot of duplicates. I don't need a lot of duplicates to get a lot of the work done. So that's that kind of thing. My only thing that's really producing oxygen right now is this oxygen diffuser. This thing takes in algae. If you like look around, you can see like algae's here. And we can put that in there, and this will shoot out oxygen while using up algae. But algae is also not a renewable resource from, so I do have to be careful that that's not a long-term solution. It's gonna help me for like the beginning game, but I'm gonna definitely want to look into other things. And so pretty much everything in the game will create. If you're consuming something, it will always create something else. So there's a never-ending cycle of trying to deal with everything. So nothing ever kind of just disappears. It will always create something else. So all your duplicates, yes, they're eating and having a good time, but they're gonna have to go to the bathroom. So they're gonna take a shit, and it's gonna produce polluted dirt, or piss bottles, like, you know, polluted water. And the same thing with here. They're gonna need to wash themselves. So you can see like the little blue bar and the little yellow bar. So we fill it up with water to wash, and then this will fill up with polluted water, and it's eventually gonna have little jugs of piss water. So right here we have our normal water. I just made this big tank. This is where we're gonna put our polluted water that eventually we're gonna try to disinfect and turn into clean water, but that will be a whole nother system that we're gonna have to create. One of the things is like your world will also have a bunch of modifiers. So poop can be a good fertilizer. It can. I think you can turn it into fertilizer too. So yeah, so one of the big things in the game is like, yeah, you'll have different modifiers. So your map might have geysers. So geysers are kind of things in the game that will be renewable of whatever resource. So for example, we have behind these little rocks, I haven't opened it yet, but we have a polluted water vent. So this thing will shoot out polluted water constantly in cycles. The only thing about geysers is they're typically very hot, and heat is kind of like the slow killer in this game. This guy over here is a saltwater geyser, so it's going to keep pumping out salt water. Both of these can be used to help get me more water, as I can filter out the salt, and then this I can filter out and make it clean. But that's heat I have to deal with. So if we look at like our temperature, one of the modifiers on this map was called frozen core, so it's generally colder everywhere else. So at the beginning, it's going to be harder for plants to grow. So we have a very small garden, and water will freeze. So as you can see, like we have some water here, but it's so cold that it's starting to turn and starting to freeze on us. It's the same thing here. If I move all this water down here, this is actually quite cold. So it's like in the negative, like high 30s. It's probably going to freeze the moment it goes down here. But yeah, so there's like a lot of different things you're gonna want to kind of look at. So if we look at, for example, the tech tree, you got food, so we can do different like farming, different storages, compost. We can get a grill, egg cracker, a little place to eat, farm tiles. You can go into more advanced agriculture, more advanced ranching with like land animals, water animals. You can also I guess make them little pets or little like housing. This is new to me, so we'll try that out eventually. A critter condo. Oh yeah, there's flying animals too. You can get up to like gourmet food. And it looks like some stations to process materials off of the animals. Then you got power. So you have different types of power. So you have batteries, coal generator, things that run off of it, I guess. Power control, a jukebox. Oh yeah. So like if we look at power, blah, 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 blah. So you can see all the wires. However, this wire can only maintain 1,000 watts of energy. So we're going to eventually want to have multiple power networks, multiple different grids, or we can start using thicker wire that can carry like 10,000 watts. The problem about some of the wires, it's so big that it can't hide in the floors, and it's ugly, so they'll get upset seeing it. So, yeah, it's very like, it's kind of tough to really kind of see. I'll try to do my best to kind of explain what I'm doing rather than just doing it. So like these guys here are called the deodorizers. These will absorb polluted oxygen and filter it into regular oxygen at the cost of sand and power. So here is slime. That is... Where is it? Pardon me. So slime right here. This can be a killer, but this is totally, I think, new. Oh, what's that? That's new. Zombie spores. We'll be careful about that. I don't know what that does. We'll see. Wait, story trait. Ancient specimen. I've discovered a fossilized critter buried in my colony, at least part of one. But it does not resemble any of the species we have encountered on this asteroid. Where does it come from? How did it get here? And what other questions might these bones hold answers to? There's only one way to find out. Okay, so I guess there's story stuff now. So that's something we'll have to be very cautious about. The word zombie kind of worries me. So eventually we'll figure out something. We'll learn what that is. Or fuck up. So what I'll probably do is make like a separate little colony that's self-contained. Maybe to deal with that, because that seems like if I let that in, that might be bad. So we'll see about that. Have some sacrifices. Anyway, so yeah, slime. These typically give off a germ in the air, but I guess it's so cold that the germs die. So normally these can be quite devastating to your colony because it could spread germs really quickly throughout your colony. It used to be way worse. When I first played the game, it used to be like devastating. Now it's kind of, I think it spreads faster in polluted oxygen. And I think oxygen kills it. But if I can harvest that, I can turn that into algae, I believe, and then use that for more oxygen and these things. So yeah, one, water is going to be always an issue because we need water for our plants, water for our dupes, water for machines to turn into oxygen because we can separate water into hydrogen and oxygen. So we want a lot of that. So right now I'm trying to find ways to renew any of the polluted water that we get or find. So we eventually could drain this into here and then turn that and clean it. We've got different type of blocks. So you have like your normal tile sandstone. These have a little tiny bit of a decor bonus, and they have a red speed bonus. But nothing can pass through them besides heat. We have airflow, so this allows air to go through, but no water. and also allows heat. These little ones are mesh tiles. These allow air and liquids and heat. And then the side ones, insulated tile reduces heat transfer. So what my eventual kind of goal will be is to have kind of a self-contained colony where there's insulated tiles all the way around. This will prevent eventual like heat from outside sources seeping in or cold, and I can try and keep this into like a core temperature. This will try to be like my paradise where I only have one gas hopefully, and that's oxygen, and everything else I'll try and find a way to kind of put somewhere else and use. I'm not liking this coming up here though. So I think I'm gonna put even more here. So I think what's happening is I don't have enough people to empty out the sand, and so they're full right now, and that's why they're not sucking anything up right now. So we just, all my piss water is coming down here, but it's starting to freeze already, which kind of has the benefit of not polluted water also gives off polluted gases, so we won't get that. But the downside is if I do want to start pumping it up, there is no liquid to pump up. It looks like there's a lot to learn. There is a lot, and again, I'm not even good. I think I'm probably very inefficient. I'm sure people who are watching like know what they're doing. They're probably like, fucking idiot, goddamn. And I haven't really gone too far. Like anytime, like I feel like any kind of like, if I get to say like 95% in the distance of the game, like I'm only utilizing like 25% of the game. Like I probably waste a lot of resources. I'm not using a lot of the stuff, but I'm trying to think of what else. So one of the things that I'm trying to do right here is, because eventually I want this to be filled up with water, I am... Actually, I don't know if that's going to work. I might actually want to add a little ladder here. I want to get all these materials out of here so that I can start using this area and I don't have to get my guys in here again, because I think this is going to get pretty damn hot. And then you have to like be careful, because so it's like one of the things I could technically do is insulated tile, like double thicket all the way around, super contain the heat, but then the machinery that's pumping it will get too hot and that will break down. So I'd have to send someone in there to repair it. And then so it's like, say if I want to build a liquid pump, I can build it, but I could also build it out of copper, which has its own heat transfer and how hot it can get without breaking down. It also has a 10% decor bonus. I can build it at aluminum, which has high thermal conductivity. So you're gonna have your heat transfer being quite quick, and then you can do it at gold, which is gonna have a higher overheat temperature. So it's gonna add plus 50 degrees Celsius to its top heat, and it's thermally reactive, and it has decor bonus. So you're gonna, yeah, there's a lot.